Hello lovelies, we're Angel Fox here. I'm gonna continue with Deku was a marionette king, and I'm sorry if this is not the what if you guys want to see yet, but I want to clarify some things of the story that I'm making. And since this is like my own version of Dark Deceptions, because I want to honor Dark Deceptions in a way, because that's one of my most favorite games. So here it goes. So basically right now we left off on where Deku fixed up his own music box that his father and grandparent and his grandpa gave to him and put it in the light music room of his school, well his junior high school. As at that moment a lot of students went missing, whoever went down into the basement, because after that light music club was abandoned after being a dance studio, then turned into a light music club, and then a science room. It was abandoned after a while because a lot of strange stuff did happen in that classroom. There was reports of singing and a lullaby from an old antique music box that was in that room that was no longer supposed to be there. And the thing is, it's not Deku's music box, but it was someone else's. Technically it was Deku's because the music box that was playing was Deku's music box, and now Deku's possessing it, and whoever was messing up with the music box clearly did not treat the music box correctly. Anyway, so I'm gonna skip that. Beast is being hunted down by pro heroes and police officers, and the League of Villains are literally did cause a lot of mischief and problems for a lot of the stuff. The other two people, which is the people who ended up helping BS kill Deku, abandoned BS after learning that they could be in big trouble for murdering a classmate. And the thing is, the people that Deku captured and murdered are basically like his old bullies, not like Bakugo and the two people. He saved them for last. But I'm gonna skip that for now. Well, I'm gonna get back to that later. So basically, Beast is running into an abandoned building. She runs in and closes the door behind her. At that moment, the inside looks like an abandoned ballroom. You can see where this is going. As at that moment, Beast is praying right now, like saying that she will be good, but since she did cause a sin, which is murdering a kid, since Deku is 16 and in the anime, Deku is still a kid. Well, teenager. But that's still a sin. I don't know if that's actually a sin. Anyways, basically BS is presented with tasks that she has to complete to win her faith back into humanity. And when she does realize that she would be captured and be brutally put into jail. But she has to do it to get out of the ballroom, because once the doors close, there's no longer an entrance or exit into the place from the inside. At that moment, whoever goes into that abandoned building will be trapped there until they complete the task for BS, who lures them by promising rewards if they do something wrong. When they did something wrong, they could rewrite the time and fix it. A lot of people did take the chance and did sadly fall into their death. And please keep in mind, Deku is not part of this yet. And at that moment, Deku is still at the school torturing a lot of lost souls that he killed off. And the thing is, when a group of students walked in there and joked around saying how spooky this is and actually brought a camera with them, once they walked into the old abandoned music room, the old abandoned science classroom in the basement of the school, they were immediately creeped out by seeing a newish music box on the teacher's desk. The thing is, the entirety of the room looks in shambles. Literally a lot of the desks, chairs, and even the walls and windows on the it's the basement, so it doesn't have windows. Even the walls look like they have been torn, ripped, and scratched, and even flinged around. As once they grab the music box, they drop the music box as the recording hears "You wanna play?" As at that moment, all of them are transported into this dance studio, as they were warned by Deku that if they do not complete the task and get out of here, they will be trapped in here with the other lost souls that have fallen into my grasp. And at that moment, the kids did not truly believe him until they tried to exit the room, which they realized they can no longer exit and now have to actually do this, as they're all were scared and separated, each one being taken down one by one as they hear a musical tune, which was very disturbing. Hold on, I think I have like a recording of one. Okay, that was like a sneak peek on the music that was playing while Deku was like spinning and dancing around. As once they see Deku, they're like terrified because the muscular build that Deku has, but the thing that terrified them the most is how his arms were longer than his body. They reached to the top of the top of the dance studio. It was like a labyrinth. The only way out is by collecting soul shards. As at that moment, Deku chases the first one, dropping the innocent act of being a ballerina, and fulls on shapeshift on crawling on all floors and running with all four, and then charging at them as they screamed. The scream echoed in the empty labyrinth, and the other students hear it. And please keep in mind, they all have cameras, so they see this. And the thing that they do is they posted it on social media if one escapes and gets all the cameras. As at that moment, Deku was faster than the speed of light. Well, Deku is fast because he's a spirit. He's not held down by any organs or flesh or bones. He's just pure molecules. As Deku chases this student, as at that moment the student trips over one of the mannequins that was holding a ballerina outfit, which was wearing one of the ballerina outfits, move unexpectedly, and she falls to the floor. As she looks on with the camera, as at that moment Deku's face splits open, as instead of seeing any human parts or anything, the only thing she sees is a gaping hole. As Deku said, "You're mine." As Deku bit hard in the skull. In the recording, you can hear the muffled screams of the girl as she is basically being eaten alive by Deku. I should have given a warning. My bad. After that, Deku put the remains of her body into one of the mannequins. As the mannequins closed, as it was recorded live, as Deku puts on the same appearance of being a ballerina and starts spinning around the hallway, as he sees the recording and turns it off, saving the electricity and making sure it was on the hand of one of the mannequins. The same mannequins that he trapped the remains of the body in. As please keep in mind, he's like a muscular dude, and it was like terrifying to see that happen on recording. As at that moment, Deku chases after the other four. Well, there was 5 people. He killed off 1, and he's after the other 4. One that was scrawny and thin. That guy did not get away so easily. As at that moment, Deku grabbed his arm and grabbed him and flipped him over and hitting him over and over again on the floor. As at that moment, Deku pops the bone off of the joint in his arm and continuously feeds off of him, doing the same thing that he did to the girl as he did to other 3 more people, trapping the remains into a mannequin, leaving the camera on the mannequin's hand or part of their body, and now their souls are trapped into the mannequins. If they get the soul shards, then they will be released. As the final person sees this as they win by getting all the soul shards, Deku went into a frenzy and starts, as at the moment he explains the last portion of his task, find the remains and get the camera. As he said, get out while you still can. If anyone can figure out where I got that reference, props to you. As the person starts screaming as they see Deku walking on all 4, crawling on the roof on all 4s, chasing after them. The spine seems to be dislocated from the body. As the student starts screaming and runs, passing one of the mannequins with the camera. He, instead of grabbing the soul shard, he grabbed the camera and a little bit of the soul shard. I should have made that clear. As at that moment, he passed the other 3 more and grabbed the rest. As Deku starts screaming in a frenzy, as instead of Deku's size, the guy sees a freaking monster of a behemoth as it chases him down, spider-like, as it crawls, as it gains speed, as the guy made it out and goes. He runs away from the light music room as Deku turns back to normal and puts back all the soul shards, because when he was running, he was dropping soul shards. And Deku put them back. The remains of the body is still there. At that moment, people were terrified of what the recording showed, of a person eating and then dismantling a human body and stuffing them into a mannequin. Which scared a lot of people, but someone memorizes that big, fluffy, green long hair, and that was Bakugo and his family, including Inko. They were terrified of what Deku has become. Okay guys, I think this is enough.